Good morning, welcome back to the Utterly Pointless channel with hopefully a much shorter character and creature checklist for going back into a dungeon in Siralim Ultimate. So, heading back to creatures, just checking out the creature sheet here for all 6 creatures on my Shadowbringer team. So, as you can see, there are some personalities for each of these where there's an increase and a decrease in their abilities or stats, rather, according to the personality chosen. So, right now I'm leaving things as is, but the gold cockatrice is, as you can see, good for getting attacks in. The clawing cockatrice, best for speed. Contagious cockatrice, also good for defense. Unicorn vivifier, good for intelligence with its healing. Not so much with the speed. And then sapphire drake, very defensive creature as well. I do have surprise fused in with this one, so it gets in the one fight breaking or fight winning trait that's needed, and that's healing breath through the improbable catapult. So the drake has to start right at the beginning of each battle and gets its destructive payload in, and basically everybody else can just kind of sit and chill. So I'm thinking, taking a review of everything here, I don't really need to have anybody with attack, just with the amount of damage that's going in through Shadowbringer when you attack, that causes healing on the enemy. So I think I should be fine with getting away with lowering attack for everybody here. So I do remember this one spazzes out a lot. I see, that's why. Okay. Yeah, so this I've seen that this one cockatrice here does go a little bit crazy, and that is because of, it looks like final form, and that gives it berserk and savage, I think, and so on, or a related series of combat buffs anyway. Let me go ahead and just see what that does. Yeah, it's a bonus I was able to find at a guild, I believe, so I'm sorry, at a god shop, actually. Let's see. Yep, target gains rebirth protected and berserk. So yeah, I have seen this cockatrice, the third one, actually get some crazy attacks in after a while, and that does have to do with the relic, I think. Let me just double check. Oh, actually, this is the one right here. Wow. Yeah, so this is some compounding damage here with vitreous. So yeah, that's where I keep on seeing all that additional damage coming in. So all right. So yeah, going back to the creature sheets then, we have, okay, health down, defense is staying unchanged, and then speed is up to get in as many attacks as possible. So, just checking to see what spells it's got. These are spells that don't really have too much of a numerical component to them, except for Living Heavy Shield, which does grant a massive amount of defense and shield according to this. It does have a stat increase figured in, so I think what I'll do to work with Vitreous is use one of the field items that I've got, and so I'll put attack up and intelligence down on here, and so the clawing cockatrice is now brutal, and let's check the creature sheet here for it. So no decrease in speed, still fairly intelligent, and I do have some scrolls here augmenting both intelligence and defense. So as time goes by, I may be able to get that intelligence up to the average ability level of defense or speed. So something to note, but I'm glad to have extra offense now with Vitreous there. Mainly the team just goes ahead and destroys everything with indirect damage. So just a good backup to have in case there are some stragglers. But this will be an improvement here to get rid of the health penalty that was there. So let's see. And this is another attacker, and I remember that there were some additional attacks here that get done with Ass Kicker. So I see. Yeah, so this is where I was seeing some extra attacks going in. And again, this is going down a little bit and peeking at some other things. The way the game is just so interconnected, and the way that things can be so empowered with just combos across relics and spell gems, or relics and even stat levels. This is a thing to check up on very quickly in relation to your creature sheet, so we're not wandering off and randomly peeking at relics. This was something where I had seen a mention of attacks, so this would tie in well where I have attack increased. And as for spell gems, these are not numerical spells either. They don't deal a certain amount of damage, I believe here. As you can see, it deals a certain amount of damage regardless of your intelligence level. I don't know if there's some kind of spell penetration factor or damage augmenting that is related to intelligence in regard to these numeric spells. I don't believe there is. And Holy Blast as well does set a flat number, so I think the effect that intelligence has on this guy is minimal. So as you can see, this just afflicts a random debuff as well, so that doesn't have to do with any kind of damage dealing. So So that's good. He gets a clean bill of health, creature sheet wise. Again, let's take a peek. Already did him. And let's see. So there's Requiem, Vacuum, and Dense Fog. And, oops. Yeah, so intelligence doesn't really pertain to those. And I have attack down, defense up. He's kind of the designated survivor with Requiem here. So I've got him just hanging back, using Dense Fog and putting enemies to sleep while they get really, really nasty, very often lethal damage from Healing Breath plus Blighted. So this one's all set, and next up we got the Unicorn Vivifier, and let me check the spell gems. So massive amount of health does tie into intelligence. And then Life Orb will be dealing a numeric amount of healing. So it is augmented here. So let me just double check. The fact that I do have him as a healer kind of concerns me a little bit with attack not going down instead. So what I'd like to do is put intelligence up and attack down to fix that. Whoops. There we go. Tome of Carefulness, and so there, that does get some speed back to him, and again, this is the healer, so you want to be a little bit more reactive, be able to get up the timeline more often as needed to cast Requiem or use its attack ability. Oops. So, but Requiem does heal more creatures. Does resurrect more creatures faster. Let me just double check that relic. Bramble Skin. Let's see. Okay, so there's nothing that deals with the unicorn being able to attack more and resurrect things, so I might want to go through later on and see if I can get something that lets it do some more attacks and get some resurrections in place that way. Again, a mental note. Or if you want to go to your notebook, there is a notebook feature right here. And so there's not much that you can really put in besides a single line. So I'll just go ahead and put in some stuff here. So I'll just do Unicorn attack relic. So right now it is a pretty defensive, pretty thorny, literally. Oops, let me just get the keyboard out of here. Oh boy. There, just tapped off screen. Okay, and yeah, it just wasn't moving. Let's see. So we have the note in to check on the relic. This is pretty good in regards to recovering 50% of the amount of damage taken from attacks or spells even. So, and that's about it for the moment. And let's see. So I do want to say, as you can see here, there is additional damage here that does get done with attacks and spells equal to 10% of the damage that the bearer has taken in the current battles. So that will offset attack here somewhat. And again, there's always the option to put some scrolls in. You can either make your creature's main stat really, really scary in a good way, or you can just try to round out your creature's weak spots. So there are benefits to both, and especially as a healer, this unicorn would benefit from a super high intelligence. I think I'll probably go with 75% intelligence boosts, and then I'll have the attack maybe get augmented probably by 1 or 2 attack scrolls, which you can get from a training mission, and that should do it for all the considerations here with this guy's creature sheet. Sapphire Drake, I do want to kind of have as the team captain, just being a second source of resurrections here in case something does happen to the unicorn. So I do have Life Orb here as generous, so basically anybody on the team can use it, but this guy has a couple more charges on the main gem, and then I do have Archangel's Blessing, and this is awesome because this is not an adjustable amount of healing. It's a flat 30%, so even if you're using a creature with an intelligence of 5, you get a 30% healing amount. So, and I do have intelligence upped a little bit, but again, the Drake will be there while Healing Breath essentially decimates the enemy team to the point that they can't do anything at all. So especially with Shadowbringer's enhanced perk, which fries anything that dies while having the blighted debuff on it. So that's all good. Frieden, just the trait is the most important. Just giving enemies leeching and mending as well as soon as possible. I know that Shadowbringer does have a perk here where after an enemy casts a spell, it gets mending, and then after an enemy attacks, it gains leeching. So this just does it right at the very beginning, and just does all it can to destroy the enemy. As you can see with mending, a 30% health gain right at the start of their turn just contributes to the damage that will be going through blighted, thanks to the improbable catapult and healing breath, which forces enemies to heal themselves for a base of 75% of max health, and then with additional indirect damage coming in from my team's trait and other things, that's winding up being over 100% base health as incoming lethal damage. So this just adds fuel to the fire, just in case there's a very resistant creature that is still getting through this. There are some false god parts, but not many. Fortunately, Shadowbringer scales all the way up to work with current health, no matter how much it is. So that's what makes the spec just so darned awesome. So, and I'm asking, please don't nerf this. So, again, Freuden doesn't exactly have the most important traits here, especially with Shadowbringer duplicating some of these in a similar, if not exact fashion, but he does get the leeching and mending in as soon as possible right at the start to just contribute to that last bit of fatal damage as needed. So keeping him for that, and then asceticism. After your creatures get resurrected by rebirth, they gain mending, repelling, and shelled. There are a lot of I would say, there are just a lot of advantages from your team being able to get that damage in early, but there are still some really nasty creatures that will sit there and snipe your own as they get resurrected. So this puts on a safeguard, and so that will, in a really harsh environment, be enough to get your team back up and running. So that is very crucial there. But as for intelligence, not that much to really do here. Chaos Spheres seals up enemies, spell gems, devour. This is something where it is a flexible numerical sort of spell, so that's why intelligence being up is good, and then Desperate Sacrifice doesn't tie in with intelligence. So and I really didn't need to put in any kind of extra property slot here for this one. There are some times when an enemy will give you blighted or some horrible other sort of penalty, especially with a boss trait, and when you attack, you're doomed. So I'm not putting in anything like that here. So it's basically a resurrect everything kind of a spell, and again, that doesn't really do much for any kind of bonuses that you do get from intelligence. But there is one final spell, an ultimate spell that Freiden does have, and it's a blade of some sort, I believe. But it's really, really, really awful. It just would be better if you just hung back and watched everybody benefit off his other buffs. So we got Ghostly Scimitar. This is it. So target takes a devastating amount of damage, which also ignores 80% of the target's defense. I don't know what it is, but this spell just doesn't do it. I don't know why. It's just something I believe I have seen it zero out time after time, or just do insultingly low amounts of damage. It might just be me, but this is my absolute least favorite ultimate spell to use. So that is why, to get back to the creature sheet, I do have intelligence increased here for Freiden. So it may have looked a little bit puzzling as to why it was increased in general. And we've got attack. Again, this is just a build that is about sitting back and watching really horrific amounts of damage come through, not even through your creature's actions. So I've left attack down. And I have speed up as well, and I don't believe I have any additional books, so they would usually, or scrolls rather, they're right at the top, and those scrolls let you fill in gaps for your creatures' low points, or again, just get their high stats even higher. So that's it. Not a really big checkup section here for the creatures. Creature sheet traits will be another thing, but for all the talking and yammering that I did on the last one, I'm saving right here and letting you get back to your day. If you're one of the people who may have watched the entire video yesterday, I salute and applaud you. Very much appreciate it. And that's it. That is everything here for the creature sheet section for this tutorial, and I will have traits again for a creature checkout for next time. See you later.